Hey everybody, with our new campaign coming in 2021, I thought it would be best for me to give you a quick rundown of Fantasy Grounds. Every one of our games is going to move to a digital platform. Most of them already have. We use Fantasy Grounds for that. Everything we do is going to operate through this and then a voice chat software. Right now we're using Discord. It works great most of the time, but we'll see how long we stick with that or if something better makes itself available. Either way, we're going to use Fantasy Grounds and a chat platform. So, let's get to a rundown of how this works because I want everybody to be proficient with it. I want to move away from us keeping character sheets at the table and reporting back and forth numbers. I want us all to have access to the wonderful digital platform that a lot of us have chipped in to pay for. So, here we go. This is it. This is your Fantasy Grounds desktop. There's a couple of things over here. Here are all your menu buttons. Here's your chat box. This is a dice tower, your dice, some modifier buttons, and down here is your hotbar. A lot of that now. There's a lot of things you can do with this sucker, but let's start with some basic mechanics. A lot of this stuff is right-clickable. Here you can exit the program. Here you can restore it to a window. Ooh, look, I'm a window. Put it back. You can set your new a position for your dice. You can rearrange your dice once you've messed them up because some of us are very particular about that. And we definitely want our dice where they belong. So we can just click that. And once they stop rolling, they'll go back to where they're supposed to be. You can chat in multiple languages. Right now, I don't have any of them loaded. And we're going to get to that in a second. But when you do, you can pick multiple languages. Like a lot of chat stuff, you can direct message people and things like that. But I'm not going to get into all of that, but if you want to see some of the commands, there's emotes and all sorts of things like that. You can hit info, give you some of it. There's a lot of other stuff online, a lot of other tutorials that you can look up. So first thing everybody does is monkey with the dice. Let's look at how you monkey with your dice. So to pick a dice up, you left click on it, hold it down. You can drag it anywhere on your screen and it will not drop it till you let go of that button. If you want to roll it, you have to roll it in your chat box. You cannot roll it over here. It'll get stuck up there in the corner. Has to go in the chat box for it to be a communicated roll to all the other players. And you can do that with all of your dice. Now, let's put them back because I'm one of the people who likes them down here. If you pick up your dice and you hold it and you right click, you add a die to it. If I want to roll a whole bunch of d20s, I can just keep clicking that button and away they go. Totals it all up. You can also, for quickness' sake, right-click on the dice before you pick it up. And if you want to roll 10d20, there it is. The percentage dice, the 10 dice, has a percentage button. So if you roll it, it will actually roll the one out of a d100 instead of the old-fashioned way where you rolled 2d10s, and that would have been a 46. You can do it either way. I don't care at the table, but it's nice to have the percentage option. So let's say you're casting a fireball or a burning hands, and you need 3d6 damage. Click on it 3 times, 13 damage. Really easy, but it's going to get even easier than that here shortly. If you're rolling at advantage, you have an advantage button. Roll the 2 dice. Disadvantage, you have a disadvantage button. You have some quick multipliers for various things. You can highlight all of those on and off. You can also enter in a custom number. Say I'm rolling at a +9. It's not something I normally roll for. I used my number pad on my keyboard to enter 9. I just rolled at 11. Super cool. There is a dice tower. I will be using this a lot more in 2021 in the new campaign. I never noticed it lit up. So cool. That's how you know, I guess you know you're about to drop it in there. Let's say I need a secret roll from you. There it is. You rolled. Says you rolled. You don't see it. But if we pop over here to look at my DM screen, there it is right there. You rolled an 18. You don't know that, but I know that. So that's basic dice functionality. Now, once we get into your character sheet, you can add all sorts of crazy things into that I will not get into in this video. If you want to talk to some people who really know how to make that happen, talk to Jungry. His name is Ryan. A lot of you know him. Or Andy, who currently I believe is Map of Meat Graniteback, but also at one point in time was King Titanbrook. So depending on what name they're going by, but those guys, they play with their numbers all the time. Tony and Adam do quite a bit as well, but not like Ryan and Andy. Those are your go-to guys for formula stuff. Also, again, all over the place online. So let's get back to stuff that's actually going to help you use this platform. Over here, you see all of the buttons for quick access stuff. This button right here, cross swords, is the combat tracker. You're going to need that later. This is your party sheet. I don't do a lot with this right now, but I may in the future. It's kind of time consuming. There's a calendar. If we get into that, probably not, but maybe. You can change the color of your dice here. This is kind of cool. Let's see. I want the main color to be darkened up. Let's go. Wait a minute. It's not doing what I want it to do. Why are you not doing what I want you to do? This is embarrassing. I'm trying to teach you how to do something and I can't figure out how to do it. Well, play around with this. See if you can figure it out. And when you do your own stinking video about it. That's really funny. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I got other things to cover. But I know you can change the color of your dice. I've done it before, and I thought it was a lot easier than what I was just doing to myself. Anyways, moving on. This here is for adding certain modifiers. We never use this. This seems more clunky than it is useful, but it's kind of neat. And some of the stuff in the future that they've added to this might be really functional in Unity. Right now, it's kind of meh. Down here are different effects you can add. Be personalized. Again, it's a lot like the modifiers chart. And here is options for certain things. Most of this has to do with just what the Dungeon Master does. Not much for you guys. Here's a note section. If you want to make a quick note, right click on it. This down here is create an item. This is your new note. You know, you can type stuff in there. And then what's cool is you can highlight it right in there and copy it. And then you can paste it over here. It's going to show you stuff. It's pretty cool. Notes. You can also share these with other players. So if you're the note taker for the group and everybody's like, hey, what'd you say with this? And what'd you say with that? You can go ahead and share it and everybody can see it. Right there, it shows that it is shared, the P. Pretty cool. You won't use a lot of these buttons as a player, but one of the important ones you have is your maps. Now, this isn't just maps. As you can see right here, it's images and maps. It's abbreviated maps. So if I share a picture of a monster with you, it's going to end up in here. So we're going to open up our map. There's your new map world that you're going to be playing in. Looks a ton like the old map world that you were playing in. A few things have changed. Some borders have been redrawn. Some nations have formed, but not a whole lot. It is a pretty standard depiction of where you're going to be running around, killing stuff, and finding loot and treasure. So, but here it is. You can zoom in and zoom out with the scroll wheel. If you need to resize the window, it's this button down here in the corner. You can also use this guy right here. You can click on this guy to move it around. If you hold down your mouse wheel, you can move it around there as well. There's a lot of different ways to manipulate the map. Now, I will be sharing the map fairly small, but you can always resize it to what you want. This will turn it immediately to a small size. I like to fill as much of my screen as I can with my maps because, well, I made them and I think they're cool. If you click that button, the minimize button, it turns it into a little dot. And then you can stick it down over here for quick access later. Pop it. Oh, see what it did? Popped it right back up. Minimize. Boom. There it is. So resize. Minimize. You can draw pointers on the map. Here are all of the different kinds of pointers you can draw. Some of these, I mean, not some of these, all of these have hotkeys with them too. Those are accessed by using the two mouse buttons and clicking them both at the same time. Just clicking them once. Oh, it's not going to let me do it because I don't have permission to do it. Well, hold on. I'll do it this way. Let's pop over to my DM screen and I will show you how that works because then you'll be able to do. I don't have a character loaded up. That's why it's not working. So if I draw an arrow, you can draw an arrow by clicking both mouse buttons at the same time. If you hold down Shift, you draw a square. And you can rotate the square. Control draws a circle and Alt a cone. These are great for figuring out where your magical effects will hit. It's also very, very useful for figuring out where dangerous terrain is and all of that good stuff as well. All right, let's go back to our player sheet. So once I have a character picked, I will be able to do all that. Actually, I think that's why I couldn't change my dice color because I didn't have a character picked. We'll see. All right, so let's get back to what we were working on, huh? So we have our world we're going to play in. We know how to use the dice. We've looked at all these buttons, and this is the next thing I'm going to show you is You're not going to need them all, so why are they out there? Let's take some of them away. If you click on the library button, it'll pop up a menu for you. You can pick and choose which buttons you want to see. You've already picked a background. You don't have any reason to look at backgrounds again. So backgrounds are gone. Now, I think most of the time, the Create PC is the most functional for players. The only thing it doesn't have, and I don't know why it doesn't have this, I guess it's because it's just for creation, is maps. So we want to put the maps one back on. Where'd it go? It's in here somewhere. Images and maps. There it is. Now it's in there. Maps, spells, skills, races, items, feats, classes, backgrounds, and the PC selection. Look at all these guys here. These are some of our campaign characters right now. These are the people from Teen Girl Squad and Tenacious D&D. 2 different campaigns we run respectively. But we're going to make a new character. So when you open up the character selection, you're going to want to, you see these little icons down here? They do different things. You can hover over them and it'll tell you what it is. Open the character wizard, import a character, add item. We're going to add item. We now have a blank character sheet up. So let's name this character. This character is going to be, let's name him Eric's. Eric's the Bold. One of my very first D&D characters. Oh, I capitalized the H there. Let's erase that, fix it up. One of my first D&D characters I ever made when I was 8 was Eric's the Bold. So he needs a class, he needs a race, he needs all this stuff that, hey, guess what? We have all these buttons over here that are up and ready to roll for it. So, oh, it's empty. This is a step a lot of people forget about. I forget about it myself, which is honestly the reason it's coming right now in the tutorial and not earlier. Let's go back to the library. I still have this window up, so I just pop it up forward. I don't have any modules loaded. So we need to load some modules. We're going to load the ones we need. Click on the load module button and stuff will pop up. Here's my campaign guide, Curse of Strahd, in case you want to play one of the background classes from there. All of the books that we've purchased are now in here. But for this guy, we're just going to need the player's handbook. I'll click load. I loaded it up. Now the book's open. It's working. And let's make him a monster, because that'll be fun. So we'll load Volos too. So we're going to make him an orc. Eric's the Bold is going to be an orc. So we now have those two books loaded. Player's Handbook, which will have almost all of our spells and things like that in it. If you want more access to spells, you can load up all the other books that have them in there. It'll populate the information stuff we need. So Eric's the Bold. Now, when we go back over to races, check it out. All of the races from those books are there. We're going to make him a full orc. So he's down here. We'll drag him in. Now watch what happens. I grabbed the little shield, or there's different backgrounds you could have. So it might look like a dragon head if you selected a different background. This is the default one. So this is probably what you're looking at. I drag it in there and I drop it. Now you'll just see a whole bunch of stuff just happened. For one, this popped up and I get to pick from these skills as my starting race. So he's going to be all sorts of into his animals. I think we'll make him a ranger. So we're going to want animal handling and survival. Pick those. The OK button highlighted. Boom. Now you see all this over here? This is all the stuff that Fantasy Grounds auto added to your character. If you'll notice, I now have a strength of 12, a con of 11. If I go look at all these other tabs that have other stuff on them, we're just going to pop over here and back real quick because we're not done with this page yet. It's already added some of my abilities and my racial traits to Fantasy Grounds. So let's go back here. Now, we want to set up our stats. Typically, I use the stat array of 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. Or some variation of that in there. So he's actually going to want to be more dexterous. So he's going to want a 16 in that. And let's give him a 14 in con. 13 in wisdom. 12, 10, and 8. Very uncharismatic orc we have here. Typical. So racial. Excuse me. Get a drink of my tea here. All right. So now we're going to give him a background. So let's close races. We probably won't ever need that one again. Because if we want to look at the mechanics of our orc race, we can just click this little shield here and there it all is. average age, size, all that type of stuff. It's all informationed out. Primal intuition, boom, cool stuff. There it is. So now let's look at, where's that? Classes. Let's give him a class. We want him to be Ranger? Yeah, we want a Ranger. So we just drag Ranger in, class and level. Now we get to pick 3 more skills as a Ranger. If you don't remember what you picked before, pop over to the skills tab. There it is. And you can stretch your character sheet out some to make sure you can see everything. I'm skilled in animal handling and survival, so I'm probably going to want perception, nature, and stealth. Boom. You see the little star lit up? I am now proficient in all those. Now let's just say I was blessed and I was a super sneaky orc. I can click on the star here for proficiency with stealth. Now there's 2 stars, and I am now an expert in that. If I click it again, I have half proficiency. The only people who really ever need that are bards, but you never know. Click it again, non-proficient. So you can cycle through that. You can also change the stat that modifies the total. So let's say nature. I want nature to be more wisdom based. So I can click it. Wisdom happens to be next. And so it changes it to that modifier. If I want to cycle through, I can cycle through all the different modifiers to get what we want. But let's leave it where it's at in intelligence. Now I got all my skills set. Go back to the main page. We need... Oh, you also will see that it automatically did my hit points. Now it is helpful, the way the Fantasy Grounds adds. You always want to do your stats before you throw your class on there. Otherwise, you got to rework your hit points. Not a big deal, but it's one of those things. So let's add a background. Background. So we got all sorts of backgrounds, all the ones from the books that we could come up with. If you want to make a custom one, just let me know and I can build it for you, and then it will appear in this list. But let's make him a hermit. This guy has lived alone his whole life, hates, typical tribal orc life, hates the city. So he just lives out in the middle of nowhere. Hermit. Now it has added all of this stuff as a hermit to it. So I've got all of these things and I've just put them everywhere in my character sheet where they need to be. Pretty great. So let's look at a couple other things on this front page before we wander off. You can put a character portrait in here. These are all the ones we have loaded up. Just for fun's sake, let's use this picture that we made of Tony for his birthday a long time ago, where he is photoshopped as Blue the Bear. It has also given us a battle token. Those can be customized as well. Typically, I use round tokens. As you can see, if you press the token button, they're all in here. Since he is a ranger, let's give him a bow token instead. Oops, I missed. Doink. There it is. Now when we go into combat, that's the token he'll be using. You can see your proficiency bonus. If you click on this, breaks down your class a little bit more. Mentions your hit dice, has how many you've used, all that type of stuff. That's all in there. That's what the little magnifying glass does. It opens things up. So when you see that somewhere, there's more to be learned. Here's your initiative, your speed, and your armor class calculator. Right now you have base armor class of 10. You get your full dexterity. This will be checked for stealth disadvantage if you're wearing heavy armor. You can go in and uncheck that in case you have a magical heavy armor, or for some reason I give you the ability to use it without the stealth proficiency. You can add other modifiers in there. If you have a shield, it'll automatically add that in there for you. It's pretty fantastic. All of that's right here. If you need special notes for anything, you can type them in here as well. Let's see if you have a cloak of protection and you want that noted. All of that type of stuff, that can go in there. There's space for temporary hit points. These are how many wounds you've taken. So if you've been hit 3 times for a total of 8 damage, you'd put 8 in there. You've been hit 8 times. Your max is 12. It's kind of cool. It highlights it red because you've taken a lot of damage. If you only took 3, it would be green. You're still pretty safe when it's green. Temp hit points always show up as blue. Here's your hit dice again down here. You can open that up and see how your hit dice are calculated. If you get anything extra, you can put it in there. All sorts of stuff you can add. If you got to make death saving throws, oh no, he's got to make death saving throws. It can roll it for you, so you're doing all right. And then you can track how many you've gotten. Cool stuff. Here's the hermit stuff. The shield opens up more information. Let's go to the skills tab, because this is pretty cool. And there's stuff that works like this on the front page, but I'm going to show it to you on this page. Now, we've stuck all your skills in here. You picked up a couple more when you became a hermit. You picked up... What did you pick up? Where's it at? Medicine and religion. But it did not auto add that. Oh, yeah, it did right there. Medicine, religion. So now you are proficient in all of these things. Let's say I got to make a skill check. See this little guy right here, this ball? That's actually a dice. It's really hard to tell at this resolution, but that's a dice. So let's say I got to make a stealth skill check. Just double click that guy. There it is. I just rolled stealth. That easy. You don't have to go over here and add your +5 modifier and then roll it. You can do that, but that's your total. But this right here tells me that you rolled stealth. That's really helpful in a digital game when a lot of stuff is happening on the screen at the same time. Then I, as the game master, or you as a player, can scroll back and see what actually happened. Now, here you can, again, change your modifier. You can add miscellaneous modifiers in this column. Let's say you get some boots that allow you to have a permanent +5. You can add that there. And then now you have a +10. So drag that over, roll it, or double click it. Either one of those ways. And you have now rolled stealth. You have this little button up here. This is on all of your pages of your character sheet. This is inspiration. I don't know what this does. Oh, that sets me as the active PC. I get it in case I have multiple character sheets up. That's cool. That's probably for communication. So if I say something like, hello. Yeah, see, Eric's the boldest said hello. Very cool. Let's look at our next page now. The abilities page. Here's where all your stuff goes. All those class perks and all those feats and all that type of stuff, they all end up here. Tells you automatically what you're proficient with based on your classes. Tells you what kind of tools you're proficient with, what kind of weapons you're proficient with. Here's your languages. Most people end up on their character sheet being fluent in one of their choice. It says that right away, but you can erase that and say and type in, dirty elfis, elfses. Elfsies. Oops, I made an extra line. You do something like that, right click on it, you can toss it out. If you do it right, you can toss it out. You can also add an extra line. Oh, hey, check that out. And again, you can do the minimize thing here to turn it into a small dot on your screen. All sorts of good stuff. I don't need that open anymore, or that. But orcs get powerful build. You forget what powerful build means? Click the shield. Right there. That's the description of powerful build. You count as one side larger when determining your carrying capacity. Super awesome for an orc. Even without a lot of strength, you can haul a lot of stuff. Let's go to your next page. This is a fun page to be on. This is the inventory page. Say I start everybody with 100 gold. You can type in 100 here. And gold pieces here. Let's say we're working with luck points. I'm in a campaign right now where somebody dishes out luck points as a reward. Luck points are points you can add to rolls. Super cool. So if I got luck points, I can put it over there. And say we got 10 of those. Luck calculates your weight for you. Here's your maximum. That's your push, pull, drag. Here's your current. It's that way because you don't have any items. Now let's go over to items. Let's click that. You have access to all of the items in the modules you have loaded. This would have been blank before, but since I loaded the player's handbook and Volo's Guide to Monster, I have all of this stuff. So let's give him a longbow. Now you can search all of this by, just scrolling through it, or you can type in the box, I want a longbow. So it's going to add a longbow to it, and I want scale, no, I want studded. Studded leather. And I want a dagger. There's that. And then I want, let's say everybody, I think he'll start with an explorer's pack, right? Explorer's pack. It even has that in there. Watch this. It unpacked it for you. Everything is out there in the open. Sometimes I'd prefer it just say explorer's pack so I know what's in there, because now my inventory is a mess. I got all this stuff all over the place, but it's a mess. So let me show you what you can do about that mess. This is what Mike does. I right click and I create a new item, and I create arms and armor. Okay, arms and armor. Now that goes right to the top of the list. I will copy that, and then on stuff that is arms and armor, I paste it. Oh, it didn't copy it. There it goes. Now watch what happens. It is categorized it under arms and armor because I pasted its location in here. So, and then I will make one for equipment. And I like those in caps so they stand out, because right now Fantasy Grounds doesn't really have a good font system. I wish they would. There's add-ons you can do that kind of do it, but it's kind of funky. Now everything is a little bit more organized. I will organize this on my character sheets, things like attunement, magical consumables, all that type of stuff, so that I can quickly find whatever's in my character sheet. Now, look at these little guys over here. You see how this is a bag? That means it's being carried. So it's going to add your weight to it. All this will add your weight. If we scroll back down, look, I'm carrying 75 pounds now. But see these? This means they're currently equipped. So let's look back at our armor class on the main page. It is now 15 because I am wearing light armor, studded leather, which gives me a 2, and it's adding my dex of 3. Now, let's give me a shield too. I don't normally use a shield, but let's say I have one. Oh, I'm on inventory. Throw a shield in there. It says it's equipped right now. So go back to the main page. I now have 17. If I go back here and I click it off, 15. You can also do that up here. You can add the shield bonus right here. You can type in the 2 for the shield. And there it is, because it's equipped. Or you can take the 2 for the shield away. Oops, not 9. That's a tough ranger right there, 24 AC. Stop it. Nothing more embarrassing than trying to teach people how to do stuff and looking like a moron while doing it. And there are all sorts of things in here. You can sort things by rarity and type. You can make it look for attunement or not. Everything that you can buy is going to be in this list. It goes here to it. This is your next page. All of it. If I want a pony, in case I get hungry later, I have a pony. I can list him under food. And then I can make a food tab. And then I will put him under... Oh, dude. Dude, I made food. There. Now he's listed under food. Pretty cool. So that's your inventory. Now, a couple other things happen that I'm going to show you in just a moment here. I'm going to quickly gloss over these. You can fill out a lot of your role-playing stuff in these pages right here. Notes and appearance and personal things. Logs. You can keep logs of your adventures here. If you click on this guy down here to edit, you can create a new item, and this will be specific to your character, and you can open this up, and this will break down all of the stuff that happened to that adventure. You can give it a name or a session number. Then you can fill it out full of notes, and then other stuff that you unlocked and rewards, purchases. I use this a lot, actually, on my characters when I'm playing in a campaign. Not for all the stuff that's here, because a lot of this is set up for Adventure League play, but particularly the adventures, notes, and downtime activity, because then I can just close this and it goes back to here. And if I need to bring something up, I can click this and be like, who the heck did we meet? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's, we met Bob, the old man. And we can fill it up with as much space as we need. And we met Tom, the sailor, and old Bill, the young guy. And then when I close that, see right there, it's all that is in their notes. And again, you can stretch this out to see it better so you can read it all. When I close that, it's going to all be conveniently right there. Now, I didn't give it a title, so let's give it a title. This is meeting 3-letter named people. Ta-da. Unlock it. There it is. This is when I met the 3-letter named people. Open it up, and there's Bob, Tom, and Bill. Bill's got 4. That's all right. It's Fantasy World. We could spell it with 1 L. It's way better than spelling it Good Greg, which I'll never understand why people do that. Ugh, Good Gregs. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do with these 2 pages. Fill it out the way you want it to. Let's go to this last page, which is really cool. This is your actions page. Now, I gave myself in the items a longbow and a dagger. Now it has throwing dagger and stabby dagger. It's kind of redundant because they both use dex. So a lot of times I'll delete the redundant one, particularly the one that has ammo, because ammo takes up more space on your sheet. Makes it nice and neat to do this. But this, just like your skills, you can double click on this. I just made a longbow attack. Oh, I just threw my dagger, or I stabbed somebody with my dagger. Let's say I hit. Probably not with a 10 and 11, but let's say I do. I can double click this. I have now rolled damage. right there. If I need to add modifiers to my damage because something cool happens or I get a cool item, I can open it up. I can change its properties, so I could add magical to it. I could add fire to the down here to the damage type. And then let's say I get to add 2d6, another d6 of damage to this. Just grab your dice and drag it in here. Look at that. Boom. So let's duplicate my dagger. If I drag this and it won't do it here. Darn. Usually it does. In most things. So I'm going to add a new attack. This is dagger sneak attack. Okay, dagger sneak attack. I've added this in here, and I'm going to open this up now. Now, this is we're going to make it plus stat plus dex. Dex plus proficiency. See, it is now +5 to hit because I added dex plus proficiency. If it's con, you can change it to whatever you want in here. So let's put it back to dex plus proficiency. And now I need to add a damage type. So I click this little slash. That's how you add stuff. Here's the damage type, and it's gonna be piercing. Piercing damage. That's important because the game knows what monsters are resistant to damage types and which ones are vulnerable to it. So making sure you accurately have your damage types in here is really handy. It avoids a lot of weird resistances. Let's say, so I want to do sneak attack, right? So base damage for a dagger is a d4. Not great damage, but let's say I got levels in rogue that give me 4d6 of sneak attack. Now I can add that there. And this is my dagger sneak attack. It just rolled all my dice for me. There's the grand total. 3 + 1 + 3 + 1 + 1 + 1. Oh, that's not right. It's because I still have my base stat attached, which is strength, I believe. So let's change that to dex and try again. Oh, wait. Oops, I just did that to my longbow. Ha! But I think you get the idea at this point. There it is. Change that to dex. Now it properly added my dexterity into it. So, and since I accidentally added a dice in here, you'll have to go back and you can clear the dice, and then you can put the D8 back in for the longbow. Now this one's back to normal. Piece of cake. So you can add in weapons or special attacks, add powers. If something isn't quite a thing and you want to add it in here, you can do that. Now, rangers get a certain number of spells, so let's add those spells in. Click the Spells tab. The Spells tab you can organize by level. Let's start with our Ranger cantrips. I don't know if Rangers get cantrips off the top of my head or not, but we're about to find out, because now I'm going to click on Source, and I'm going to select Ranger. Rangers have no 0 level spells, which means they have no cantrips. If I switched it to 1, here are their first level spells. Now, I want to be tight with animals, so I'm going to take Animal Friendship, and Goodberry is always a good spell to have, and of course Hunter's Mark. I'm guessing that's probably all I get. You know what? Screw Animal Friendship. I want to talk with animals. I'll make them my friends. I'll intimidate them into being my friends because I'm an orc. Doggone it. I've added all my spells to it. Now I'm going to stop editing the list, and I'm going to close the magnifying glass. We'll get back to this in a moment. And you can change the display. You can see how many spell slots you've had, how many pack magics you've blown if you need to. You can mark spells as prepared or unprepared. So watch, let's prepare all these spells. Then I will go back into my standard. They'll all have stars by them now. This means they're prepared. Now, I want to cast a spell. So here's Hunter's Mark. See this button right here? If I drag this button onto an enemy, which we'll do in a little bit here, it'll put Hunter's Mark on that enemy. So then all this right here is formulaed out. So when I attack that guy or that gal or that dragon or that whatever, I'm not being judgmental. You be what you want to be in this game. It'll automatically add that extra damage into it. If I forget what a spell does, like what exactly does Goodberry do? I can click the shield and the spell Goodberry pops up and I can immediately read what I'm looking at. So I don't have to go to any other books or sources. I don't have to go across the internet. I can just look at it right here in the program. So here's your spell power group. You can add your spell casting modifiers and all sorts of other stuff in here. Your spell save DC, which a lot of it it's figuring out based on the base of your class, but you can readjust it if I, as the DM, give you other options to do so. Guess what, guys? Character creation's done. Other than the role-playing stuff that I don't really have a lot of control over, I've just built a character. Let me show you the next thing that happens. You adventure a few times. Things have gone awesome. You get a level. So let's go back to classes. Let's scroll down to Ranger. All you got to do to level is drag the shield onto Ranger. That's it. You just leveled. Tells you all the new stuff you get. You got some new features. So let's go over here and look at features. Well, there they are. Favorite enemy features. Let's say you did something really great and I give you a feat as a reward, because that's probably how I'm going to give feats out in the next game. I'm not going to let you pick them at levels up. They will probably be milestone rewards as players. I haven't fully decided on that yet. We'll see. So I let you pick a feat now. Well, I want sharpshooter because that makes a lot of sense for my ranger here. So I now have sharpshooter. It's in the feats category. All this stuff is right there. Super cool. All right, back to the main page. So let's get into a fight, shall we? I'm going to have to pop back over here for just a minute to my DM screen as we decide what we're going to fight. Here, let's put our friend in here first. I will drag you into the combat tracker, and then this is always fun, dragon, because everybody wants to fight a dragon. Let's fight ancient red dragon. One of the biggest, baddiest creatures in D&D. I will turn him on, and then we'll go back to our character screen. All right. Combat tracker. There it is. Pop it up, close it. You're in a fight, so you want combat tracker up. Go to your main page. I call for an initiative roll. You roll initiative. 10 for initiative. It's not going to beat the dragon who rolled an 11. That's a pretty terrible initiative for a dragon. But that's what we got. We don't have any wounds yet because we haven't been in a fight. So the dragon is going to use its turn to fly onto the map. And, oops, I will have to pop back to the DM screen to do this. Dragon on the map. You now see the dragon on the map. Actually, I think I got a DM screen to put you on the map, too. Eric's on the map. There it is. So let's scroll in. Readjust this a little bit. See, I can move me, but I can't move it. So it flies in. That was its turn. Now it is my turn. You can do a number of cool things right now. You can target a creature on your turn. You can target a creature at any point, actually. You can do it one of two ways. You can click on the combat tracker. Now this little arrow appears, shows you how far away you are from your target. You can click off, or you can click here in the combat tracker, targeting the red dragon. Now, targeting is really handy because now I can go over to my actions, and let's say I want to roll an attack on the dragon with my dagger. Automatically attacks the dragon because that's what I'm targeting. I don't have to do anything else. Now, let's say I'm not targeting him, because sometimes battles get a little clunky if you're targeting and untargeting. Not always, but it can. You can just drag your attack right onto the dragon. That one actually hit the dragon. Good job, Mr. Orc. And let's longbow him by up here. Dropped it on the combat tracker. Either one of those two places. Good job, Mr. Orc. 2 17s in a row. Doing the damage. But let's say I want to put Hunter's Mark on him. So I open that up. I grab the effect and I drag it onto the dragon. The dragon now has Hunter's Mark on it. So let's say I get my longbow attack off. I roll it on him. There's that. And it didn't roll the Hunter's Mark damage. Why not? It should have. I don't know why I didn't do that. How strange. Oop, I just put it on me. I don't want that on me. I should have. I'll have to figure that out. But it's supposed to do stuff like that, right? Somebody help me out with that. It's on the dragon. Maybe. Oh, I bet you it's because it's not my turn. Yeah. See, let's. You know what we gotta do? We gotta go over to the DM screen. Gotta make it my turn. Maybe not. I don't know why it does this. Ask the people who do this stuff all the time, because I, as your DM, don't ever do this stuff. And let's see if they can figure out what's going on here. Let's see. Oh, is this the right screen? Yeah. I want my character sheet open. I closed my character sheet. How do I find it again? I can double click up here, but a lot of times you should probably drag it somewhere accessible. Quick bar down there. Lots of quick bar buttons. 1 through 12 there. If you hold down Shift 1 through 12, Control 1 through 12, Alt 1 through 12, you can drag all sorts of stuff down there. Certain attacks, dice rolls. A little aside. Oops, I missed. Okay, now I can just that or Shift and then press. These are all your F keys. So Shift and F2 does it too. Super cool. Another little tidbit and a little trick. So there's my character. So maybe that time it did it. No, that was sneak attack. It did not. Nope, it's not adding Hunter's Mark. I'll have to ask some people why it's not doing that. But it's supposed to. There's certain ways you can get automatic effects to go off and for things to happen. Not my forte. That's definitely advanced user using. Yeah, ask around for that. But that's basically it. That's combat in a nutshell. And then when you're done with your turn, you click the next button. Oh, it's back to the Red Dragon's turn. So let's see what happens. I got to go back to my DM screen to be Mr. Red Dragon. Here's all the Red Dragon's abilities, but you know what's going to happen. He's going to breathe fire. And so he breathes fire on Eric's. Eric's the Bold has been incinerated. That's really funny. I figured it out because the dragon had Hunter's Mark. Some of you who are watching this video already knew. I put it on me, and then when I make my attack, it adds the damage. Right? I bet you. But Eric's is now dead. Oh no. Well, I am a merciful DM. Let's bring him back to life. And then I'll have to remove the unconscious effect from him. Eric's is alive. The dragon doesn't even know what happened. It's crazy. There we go. Let's play with our Hunter's Mark, see if we can figure this out, huh? I think that's a good idea. So, all right. Hunter's Mark is on. I roll damage. Ah, there it is. I just had it backwards. So, there's your extra damage because Hunter's Mark is active. I bet you if you click that again, it'll take it off. No. Oh, it automatically took it off. Well, that's kind of cool. Learn new stuff every day. Yep. And so then if you have Hunter's Mark, you can reapply it on your next turn. I bet you, but you could just make an attack with Hunter's Mark, and then you would roll that. It'd be really similar to what we did with the attack with sneak attack. And even your pre-programmed attacks, you can add more dice to it. Man, there's so many things you can do with this. I really hope you guys have learned to appreciate it and learn to come to use it in the functional way that I have. I think some of its most winning areas are the automatic math that it does for gigantic dice rolls. Like when all you got to do for a fireball is that, and you don't have to count all your dice. You don't have to separate them at the table, which can be fun. Don't get me wrong. Rolling physical dice is great, but it really bogs the game down. Takes a lot of time to count all those things up. You don't, 2 minutes here, 4 minutes there. It adds real fast. It adds hours to the game. So this is one of the areas where this definitely wins. The map system, the distancing, the targeting, all of that stuff is just fantastic. But I think my favorite part of the whole thing is just your ability to look stuff up quickly. When you don't know exactly the mechanics of speak with animals, you can look it up and it tells you that fast. Right there as I'm talking, you've probably already read the first paragraph of that spell. It's just a fantastic program. There'll be all sorts of new bells and whistles with Unity and more stuff to come. But I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a tutorial. And looking forward to doing more stuff with you guys in the future. New campaign, like I said, will launch in January, most likely. We will wrap up with our big global event in December. And that should do it. Sorry if this video is a little jumpy, a little blah, 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 blah. Mike not having all of his crap together. But I just did it in one take, so hopefully I covered everything. But if you ever want to just monkey around with Fantasy Grounds, if you want to build some mock characters, if you want to play with dice rolls, let me know. I'll open it up for you. You can just log in, make some characters, do some stuff. I'll load a giant monster with unlimited hit points, and you can practice rolling damage on them, all that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Love you all. See you around.